This YellaWood 400 DFS Picks 2025 edition of the NASCAR Gambling Podcast here on the Sports Gambling Podcast Network is brought to you by Underdog. Underdog is hooking up new customers. Play just $5 and get $100 in bonus funds when you sign up with our promo code RACESGPN.
Driver, start your engine!
Strap in and pull those belts up tight as the Sports Gambling Podcast Network presents the NASCAR Gambling Podcast.
I'm just gonna put my foot on the floor and I'm not lifting till I see God or a checkered flag.
My man.
With all the news and the best bets for your NASCAR weekend.
We want to thank you tonight for these mighty machines that you brought before us. Thank you for the Dodges and the Toyotas. Thank you for the Fords. Lord, I want to thank you for my smoking hot wife tonight, Lisa. In Jesus' name, boogity, boogity, boogity.
Now, here are your hosts, Rod Villagomez and Cody Zeeb.
Welcome into another episode of the NASCAR Gambling Podcast here on the Sports Gambling Podcast Network. He's Cody Zeeb. I'm Rod Villagomez. Good morning, Cody. It's a very rare morning show that we've done here.
Yes, it is a very rare morning show, but top of the morning to you, Rod. Good to see you. We've done some late night editions of NGP, and this is the morning edition. So welcome in.
This is so I've done my fair share of morning shows over the course. So we're supposed to be happy and very much conversational and grab your cup of coffee and give you all the fun stories from Talladega this week. But yeah, that's what we're here to do today.
We do have some fun stories today, by the way. There's been some silly season news, so we'll get into some fun stories this morning, Rod.
We will. And cats being rescued from trees and all that other fun stuff that accompanies a morning show. The wacky, zany sound effects. And all right. We're just kidding. So we are here today for the Talladega DFS episode. We're going to give you our Cup Series high price, mid-tier, and low price drivers. And then we're going to tack on some bonus Xfinity and Truck Series picks for this slate as well, since all three series are in action this weekend. We can't just kind of break it down, both of them, like we did the last couple of weeks, but still a lot to talk about, still a lot of DFS fun to be had, Cody, and I'm excited because DFS on super speedways is always one of the more fun ones to talk about, because you could just say, because Dega.
Yes. Oh, yes, it is. Super speedway DFS. Nothing more fun. It's a great week not to go super heavy from the fact of, I build so many lineups every week and I'm expecting to win this. Like, again, much like the betting side of things, it's approach it with more caution. But these are the ones you can have more fun. Literally everybody is in play. You can leave, and I've left, I think, up to $10,000 on the table before of salary, which you can just perfectly fine, and you can cash with those types of lineups. You can do all sorts of fun different things. There's unlimited strategies. You have a better shot as just a regular person, like we kind of are in the DFS streets, against the person that's setting 150 lineups and all that. Like, all the computer algorithms, yeah, sure, they might hit on stuff or whatever, but they can't predict what could be the chaos of a place like Talladega. So it's a ton of fun. And I personally enjoy the sweat of watching the lineup go up and down, watching the green number go up and down, but not for the faint of heart. So maybe don't look until a couple minutes after the checkered flag has fallen if you don't want to see the rise and fall of your points in the closing laps at Talladega.
That has been your DFS advice since we first started this show, right? You've always said, listen, don't look.
Never changed. Like, yeah, if you can't, I'll sit there and just refresh it as it's going, as the lines are changing. I love the rush of it, but not for the faint of heart. If you don't like to see that stuff, maybe set the phone down and you got to wait a good solid 5 minutes until after the finish of Talladega as they sort out the results usually to figure out exactly where things land.
Ironically enough, that is my wife's advice to me when we watch stuff like Grey's Anatomy and stuff. She knows that I'm not necessarily the most when it comes to watching people getting gutted open or
a little crazy.
Open. Yeah. Oh, yeah. It's like she probably don't want to watch this part because they're gonna open this guy up. So, yeah, if you don't like seeing all the wrecked cars, then don't worry about opening up the app until it's done. Experts Suck. Make sure you check out their sports betting podcast as well. Perfect timing. Been in the home office since 6:30 a.m. Need the break. Happy to provide it.
Happy to provide the break. Give you a little bit of shake up your Thursday, I suppose.
Indeed. Speaking of shaking up Thursdays, the NHL shaking up the calendar and it's back. So is the Hockey Gambling Podcast. Join Ryan and Joel as they break down the biggest games, the storylines, the awards, and the best bets throughout the season. Let it slide, baby. All right, Talladega. Cody, like you said, silly season is already starting to rear its ugly head as we're not even through with the season yet. People are making moves. This one, shocking and yet not at the same time, I guess. I don't know. It took me by surprise when I saw it yesterday.
Well, boy, I don't know what you saw yesterday. I have two pieces of news from this morning.
Oh, shoot.
So what's the story from yesterday that I missed?
Oh, somebody losing their ride early in the season already. So go ahead. You go with yours because
okay.
I wasn't prepared for mine.
Justin Haley? We already talked about that.
No, it wasn't Justin Haley. Go ahead.
Okay. All right. Moving on. Yes, the two pieces of news from early this morning. Kaulig has announced that Brendan Butterbean Queen is going to be one of the full-time drivers of their Dodge Ram trucks next year. Of course, as you I know what the story is from yesterday. Jesus, what the fuck? I don't know why that just popped into my head right now. But anyways, as you may know, right, Dodge with the Ram brand re-entering the Craftsman Truck Series. They've obviously been around before and departed, coming back with Ram, bringing the Hemi back, all that fun stuff. But Kaulig is their partner team, and they're going to have 5 trucks next year. We do know that much, but we up until this point not known which drivers they would have. Is it going to be full-time drivers or some of them going to be part-time trucks? What exactly is the story with that? Dodge bringing a lot of their own funding, so that kind of, leads you to believe, hey, they could actually go for talent more than money, like we see a lot of decisions being made lately and throughout the history, right, of that. But yeah, Kaulig has announced that Brandon Butterbean Queen will drive the truck full-time. He's obviously been, doing some stuff part-time here and there. He's one of those guys that's similar to a Josh Berry. He's a lot younger than Josh Berry, but not, he's I think 27, 28, somewhere in that range. So not a super young guy, but he's been grinding it out in the late model scene for years, doing really well. This is kind of his opportunity to step up. He's had a couple of Truck Series races, done really well in the ARCA Series. I believe he won one of the championships. I think it might have been the East Championship over there, and made some Xfinity Series starts as well. So good to see him getting an opportunity to jump full-time into a truck racing for Ram next year.
Yeah, and watching Ram just in general is going to be exciting back in the series and seeing Dodge, that bull, I guess the Ram, I get the bull. Hold on, let me take another drink of coffee because I definitely need it. But no, the Ram emblem on the logo, yeah, it's going to be fun to watch. And, Butterbean Queen, he's done well for us in the betting cards as far as some top 5 finishes here and there. And yeah, excited to see what he's going to do. So yeah, Cody, bail me out because I set you up for the story and it didn't happen. And so now, now people are like, what the hell's he talking about?
Is the story the spotter story? Is that what you're talking about?
Yes, the spotter story.
Yeah. I guess we didn't, that was post show yesterday. So very interesting, but there was obviously the incident last week with William Byron wrecking into Ty Dillon. We sort of touched on it in the betting episode earlier this week, but we had a lot to talk about. So we kind of breezed over it. But it kind of came out as not really anybody's fault. Maybe Dillon could have waved him off, but it was said that the spotter communicated to Byron's spotter, whatever. Nobody really knows. Okay, fine. So we all just moved on and everything was fine. So Ty Dillon's spotter, Joe White, flew to Talladega, got to Talladega. He parked the bus and then he got fired. So he tweeted out, got to Talladega, parked the bus, got fired in an Uber to the airport to go home for the weekend. And he also had tweeted that it was already determined he wasn't going to be spotting for Ty next year, but would still be with Colleague in some fashion. Obviously no longer the case because he got fired. Chris Rice kind of put the blame on him. I don't fully understand this. We're kind of having this discussion in the Discord too, but the way I view that incident is, and I've heard mixed opinions, right? Some drivers say, hey, you should be weaving on the backstretch to let people know you're going to pit, arm out the window, whatever. But also there's plenty of times throughout races where you don't want somebody to know you're going to pit, so you pit last second. So that's not always, it's not a requirement, right? It's a common courtesy. Yes, when you're multiple laps down, you're in the way of the leaders, probably a courtesy you should extend. I will say that, right? It doesn't appear that Dylan did that. It doesn't appear that his spotter told the Byron spotter. I don't exactly know. But at the same time, was William Byron's spotter taking a nap? Did he not see the car slowing down? Like what? And what was William Byron doing? Was he not paying attention to the racetrack? Like you could tell he didn't notice until super late. It wasn't like Ty Dillon was way too high to pit. Some people have said that, but you look at some of the other people, McDowell way higher in SVG's way when he pitted or tried to pit and hit the commitment zone or commitment box earlier in the race. So I don't know. It seemed to me more like it was on the 24 team for not fucking paying attention. Like they just were, Byron was in the groove, just, doing his thing, wrapping the line. Like, okay, but there's still a racetrack and cars out there. So maybe pay attention to more than just the line you're running, right? I don't know. But yeah, apparently my guess is Chris Rice received a phone call from Mr. H and said, what are we going to do about this? And Chris Rice said, well, we could fire the spotter. And Mr. H said, okay, let's do that. And if I had to put my money somewhere, that would be where it would be. But yeah, I don't know. Interesting, very interesting kind of story scenario. The team obviously pays for the travel for these spotters. So they paid for him to go to Talladega, then decided to fire him. Without some type of phone call or something, that doesn't make a ton of sense to me.
When Mr. H, it's funny how many mountains move when Mr. H makes a phone call, right? Doesn't matter what
if Mr. H calls, I'm going to do something too. Like, yes, sir, Mr. H, whatever you say. Like he is Mr. H. Like that's how it works. But what else would cause them to suddenly fire this guy on Wednesday when he's already traveled to the next track? That doesn't make any sense.
They're like, you mean Ty Dillon's former spotter, Mr. H? Yeah, we're good with that. Justin saying early show, love to see it, but Ty was not winning or anything, so not like he was on a secret strategy.
Correct,
with a lap
but
down.
Not a requirement. They're not required to tell anybody that they're going to pit. He can pit whenever the fuck he wants to pit, and he doesn't. Like, it's not a requirement. If it was a requirement or a rule, then fine, but it's not. A common courtesy, yes. It should have been extended, yes. Seems like maybe it was a last-second decision to pit. I don't really know, but I don't know. Very interesting.
That's all right. Will and Byron, they'll all bounce back from it. And again, Mr. H got his way, so we're good to go there. But all right, one last news story, right?
Yeah, one more news story. Richard Childress Racing has named the new crew chief for the number 8 team of Kyle Busch. So to me, that sounds like Kyle Busch will be back, not going to the 7 car, which we knew he wasn't, but some delusional people out there. Oh, Justin, good to see you in the chat. Thought that maybe he would be going to the 7. I don't think that that's the case. But Jim Pullman is going to come over from the 7 Xfinity Series car. Justin Allgaier's current crew chief, and he will be the Cup Series crew chief for Kyle Busch. So I was trying to jump through and look here together. He moved over to Allgaier for 2023. They made the championship 4 together. Obviously, last year, then they won the Xfinity title, something Allgaier had been chasing for a long time. And now Pullman will obviously continue to try and get Allgaier back there to get another championship before they finish it out. And he is going to finish the season with the 7. Then he'll come over to the 8 team in the off season. But good to see him get the opportunity at the next level. Obviously, Kyle Busch needs some change. Obviously needs something fresh. I don't believe that Pullman has worked on the next gen cars at all. If he's been with Allgaier since 23, it would obviously make sense. He's been in the Xfinity Series. But some type of change maybe will help. It's the crew's the crew is the crew chief's the problem with KB. He won 3 races just 3 seasons ago in his first year with RCR. So we're not that far removed from that. And last year he almost won 2 races. He was inches away from winning. Was it the 3-wide finish at Atlanta, right? And then he was leading with like 20 laps to go at Kansas when he just inexplicably spun out off the air from Chase Briscoe or whatever. So he had opportunities to win. He won a couple of years ago. He's still one of the greatest drivers of the era. I know Father Time's undefeated, but Denny Hamlin's beating it, and he's a lot older than Kyle Busch. I still think there's something in there. So I think great opportunity for Busch to get a new landscape. Sometimes you just got to hit that reset button, refresh things, get a new perspective. And, Pullman obviously comes from the Xfinity Series with a history of winning with an older driver. So maybe he can translate that into the Cup Series.
I mean, listen, sometimes you just got to clean the cupboard to make room for something better. And I think that's exactly what they're doing. And good for them. I mean, they need to find something. It's not, like you said, it's not as if Kyle Busch just forgot how to drive. It's just he's going through a rough stretch. And
like you have a legend. Kyle Busch is a legend of the sport. I think he's one of the top 10 greatest drivers of all time. I mean, it's sad what we've seen here lately, right? It's like, I don't want to compare him to Michael Jordan, but Michael Jordan on the Wizards, not the same as when he played with the Bulls, right? Jimmy Johnson, down the stretch, not been as good as he once was. And we've seen this. Darrell Waltrip, failing to make races late in his career. We've seen the same story time and time again. Even Richard Petty at the end was nowhere near being the king back in the day. But if you have a guy that's as talented as Kyle Busch, you should be throwing the entire woodshed at it to see if you can make it work. Maybe Father Time has caught up to him. Maybe it's this new car, although he's won in this car. Maybe it is just his time and that's it for Kyle. But if you have an opportunity to change things and try and rekindle it and get him to be back to half of what he once was even, you have to take that opportunity. So it's good to see that RCR is at least putting in the effort. They've got this opportunity with a legendary driver. Let's see if we can rekindle something. And I mean, he comes out and wins the Daytona 500 or something next year, which is great on super speedways. Now might be in the playoffs, depending on the floor mat. But that completely changes how they look at the season, right? And how everybody's going to look at him. Doesn't take much. Again, if he wins those couple of races last year, we're talking about how he's got 5 wins over the last 3 seasons and he's not washed up. So it's not much away from being a different story with Kyle Busch.
Joe Montana, when he went from the Niners to the Chiefs back in the day, it was a very sad fall.
Tom Brady when he went from the Patriots to the Bucs. Oh wait, that worked out.
Oh, wait.
Never mind.
That didn't happen.
He was still good.
He was. All right. We got some DFS to talk about, but first, I would like to tell you about our friends over at MyBookie. We're brought to you by MyBookie.ag. MyBookie is your place to bet on football and everything else. Plus, their prop builder is second to none. Their motto is bet on anything, anywhere, anytime. We've put that to the test, and we're going to continue to do so for you every single day that we crack the mic. Easy deposit, lightning fast payout using cryptocurrency. Let's bring you back to my AFLW, the Aussie Football League Women's Division. Still a big fan of the Western Bulldogs, and you guys are out there moving lines. They were actually 18.5 when I gave them to you yesterday. They were 19.5 when I opened the book up a couple of hours ago. They are now 20.5 point favorites. Western Bulldogs. You guys keep pulling this number down. Just keep going. I'll still take the Western Bulldogs with the 20.5 minus 127 over on MyBookie. Gold Coast, they're last on the ladder, not doing all that well. Western is a scrappy team that's actually having some fun out there and could win some games. So give me Western minus 20.5, 127 over on MyBookie.ag. Head to MyBookie.ag, promo code SGPN for a 100% bet back bonus up to $500 for new customers. That's MyBookie.ag, promo code SGPN. Also brought to you by Novig. Novig is America's #1 sports prediction market. Novig, you're getting the best prices out there. It's available in 35 states and growing. Go download the Novig app and get $50 when you spend $5 if you use our promo code SGPN. Get in on the action with Novig, promo code SGPN. All righty. So it is Talladega. We are here for the YellaWood 500, 188 laps around this 2.660 mile legendary paved track for 500.080 miles around the Talladega Superspeedway in Lincoln, Alabama. Cody, as we always do, we'll give you our favorite high-priced drivers, our mid-tier drivers, and our low-priced drivers for the slate. But as you alluded to in the beginning of the show, this doesn't really matter. I mean, prices don't matter. It's just pick your favorite drivers, have some fun. 188 laps. There's not going to be a lot of laps led by one single driver. It's going to be passed around like, well, it'll be passed around. And you'll just have to pick your favorite drivers and hope they lead some laps and maybe hope they get you some points. For reference, Ty Gibbs led the most laps in the spring with 32 laps. The next best was Joe Logano, 24, Chase Briscoe, 20. Anthony Alfredo even led 19, which is why you should start picking these guys down at the bottom, because they can come up and lead. Josh Berry led 12. So just to give you some perspective, right? You're going to be picking guys. They could lead laps. They could not. Who knows? It's up to you.
Yeah, we're going to hear the Twitter police throughout the race. Oh, they're running 3/4 throttle and they're not going for the lead and they're trying to go too slow. You can't tell the difference if you just fucking watch the race on TV. So if they weren't telling.
Oh, Cody, did you mute yourself?
I did mute myself. Can you hear me now?
I thought you were actually censoring yourself. I was like, wow, Cody.
It's probably a good thing I did, but yeah.
All right.
Anyways, yeah. So but they are actively going to try not to lead the race because you burn more fuel when you're out front, and that's not what they want. We've seen it for a few years, obviously, in this car on the super speedways, things like the Indianapolis 500. It's the same story. You want to be up front, but you don't want to be the lead car. They're going to pass the lead back and forth. As you said, in the spring, 31 laps, I think it was that you said for Ty Gibbs, out of 188, that was the most anybody led. So we're not focused on laps led. We're not focused on fastest laps because fastest laps won't always be the leader. Actually, most of the time it won't be the leader. It'll be people back in the draft getting the pole on a great lap. It'll spread throughout the thing. So don't focus on that so much. Finishing position more important than anything else here in this race. And also place differential. Obviously, we don't know starting spots going into this, but place differential will be huge. But finishing position, the most important thing. Survive the wrecks. If you look at the DK thing, it's got the little flipped upside down red car if you do bad and your driver's out. So yeah, it's that's how it works. So finishing position going to be more important than anything else. Old Fashioned Football would like me to do that again. Good morning, Old Fashioned Football. Justin, great to see you. I won't be doing that again. I think, excuse me, my throat's already hurting from trying to go into that. But
this time we know that it's not Miranda. This time we know it's Justin.
It's Justin for sure. Didn't call us sexy guys or whatever. So JDK checking in, says morning, fellas. Good to see you, JDK. He's also checking in with his daily Kyle Busch hate. It keeps that alive in the Discord for sure. And all right, should we get into the picks, Rob?
I think we should, Cody. Who do we got for our high price drivers for this slate?
Well, you stole my guy.
I
wanted, as you did in the betting episode. So I will fully endorse yours. I think that the guy you're going to give out is the best play that you could have for the top guys. Very trustworthy guy, and you'll obviously go into depth. So I'll already give an endorsement on your play, but I'm going to take Chase Elliott, $9,800. You go back and you look at what he's done here at Talladega in particular, been a pretty good track for him. In the spring, started in 30th, which is beautiful. You love starting position doesn't matter here. So it's not like a place like Las Vegas last week. Sure, a guy like Chase Elliott starts 30th, but he's going to have to battle all day. They're going to have to use strategy to get up front, whatever. You can go from 30th to first in the matter of 5 laps at Talladega. I mean, realistically, right? It can be pretty quick. And it just track position doesn't mean a ton when as far as starting the race. Later on in the race, it starts to matter, but you're able to move and shake and go from first to last or last to first or either way. So started in 30th and ended up with a 5th place finish. So that obviously in and of itself is a great day. He did lead a lap in that one as well, but again, we're not overly concerned about that. 29th here in the fall last year. So obviously got caught up in it and that's unfortunate. Not a good day, but his other finishes here in the next gen have all been 15th place or better. 15th in April of 24, 7th, 12th. He won here in the fall race of 2022, 7th place in the spring of 2022. So of the 7 next gen races rather that he has run here, he has finished inside of the top 15 in 7 of them. That's obviously a very good percentage. Inside of the top 10 in boy, I messed all that up. He's been inside of the top 15 in 6 of the 7. Inside of the top 10 in 5 of the 7 is what I was going for. So been very good just in general. And then you zoom out and look at him on super speedways, right? And very good at Atlanta, where he just won back in the summertime. Obviously, I think that's the least translatable to Talladega, but it's still the drafting track. It still races like a super speedway. The fact that he was able to lead 41 laps, he was able to win in the draft. You love to see that. 10th place also in the fall race here at Daytona. Good run there. 5th back in the spring at Talladega. And then, 15th in the 500 is not a horrible day. 20th at Atlanta, you'd like for a little bit better. Last year at Atlanta with an 8th place finish. A 7th place here at Dega, a 4th place back in 2023 at Daytona. He's won at Atlanta previously back in 2022. RIP to our Corey LaJoy bets that day, but been a very solid super speedway racer. Very good at navigating the draft. He's definitely learned that well, does well with it, with wins here, wins at Atlanta, and just good runs in general. So I'll take Chase Elliott at $9,800 as my high price driver.
Yeah, and I 100% agree with that. Obviously, we had talked about how good the Hendrick drivers are, particularly at this track, and how they pretty much dominate the entire average finish chart, the heat chart from iFantasy Race. Byron, Elliott, Bowman, Larson, top 4 in average finishes on this track. So obviously, like Cody said, finishing position is going to be huge. You're going to need a good finishing position with the chance to lead laps, and Chase Elliott most certainly gives you that opportunity, as does my driver, who, by the way, is another Hendrick Motorsports driver, Mr. H, making phone calls left and right to the folks at Talladega saying, make sure my drivers finish up front. Look, William Byron, we talked about in the betting episode yesterday, just on a tear on this track, right? In the next gen era, he started out kind of rough in 2022 with a 15th place finish in the spring, 12th place finish in the fall. But since has ripped off a string of top 10 finishes, 7th in the spring of 2023, 2nd in the fall, 24, 7th in the spring, 3rd in the fall, and then earlier this spring he finished in 3rd place. His average finish is a 7. What does that mean in terms of fantasy points? Well, in the spring, he got you 57.2, which was the 5th best total on the day. How about the race before that in 2023? He got you 55 points. In the fall of 2024, rather, I'm sorry. And then in 2023, he got you 45 points, which was the 11th most in the fall race of the spring race of 2024. Whew, Rod, it's too early in the morning. And then in the fall race of 2023, he got you 50 points. His floor essentially is right around 50 points because in 2023 in the spring, he got you 49 points. There's not been a race in which he's really struggled other than maybe the 31 points that he got you in the fall of 2022 or the 32 points he got you in the spring of 2022. So again, like I said, struggled in that first set of races in the next gen era, but has since gotten you almost 50 points or more in the last several races that he's been at. And it's just, he's a most consistent DFS play essentially that you can have in this field. Kyle Larson got you the most points in the spring this season with 64.2, but that's because he started 25th and ended up finishing 3rd. I don't know if you can count on that. Chase Elliott, next on the list, 62.5, started 30th, finished 7th, like Cody said. Then it was Gragson, then it was Hocevar, then it was Byron. Hocevar, Gragson, they're those dart plays that you use if you want, much like in the fall where it was Stenhouse, Jones, Haley, Hocevar, Keselowski, and then Byron. Like any of those names up there are flashes. Byron's the most consistent. So
whoa. Do not disparage his name of Eric like that, please, Rod.
Well, okay, I get it. But I still say that his name doesn't consistently find himself in the top 10 on this track, whereas William Byron does. So, yeah, give me William Byron, $10,000 for him. But, I mean, listen, the upside is still there of a 50-point day, and that's pretty good for a $10,000 driver.
Yeah, I think if you're looking at these guys, William Byron, Chase Elliott, I would say that they're on the safer side of the high tier plays, right? You could play a Kyle Larson. Obviously, it paid off in the spring. More times than not, it doesn't play off because he doesn't finish well. But these guys are the safer side. More times than not, they finish well. And really for Byron, every race in the next gen, he's been at least 15th or better. So great runs by him. Nobody's immune to the wrecks. He can get caught up in the big one. We saw it last week with Byron. I mean, I would say nothing of his own doing, but I made a case against that earlier. But just randomly, kind of something bad like that happens, and that's just how it goes. You get NASCAR, as the expert suck would say. And that's what happened to him last week. But, yeah, I think these guys are both great building blocks at the top of the board for sure.
I concur. Experts suck also saying that we need more caffeine. here's what people don't realize is that when you're asking your brain to process all that information I know, right? Like I'm grabbing my coffee mug right now and just sipping it down. But yeah, you ask your brain to process this much information at 9 a.m. It's screaming at you saying, what the hell are you doing? But yeah, no, I totally agree with you on that one. So, all right, Cody, well then we got to dump down a little bit. I know that I tried to disparage the name of Eric Jones, but you've got him next.
I can't believe you. Also, Justin wants to know, Blaney Logano basically a must-wins? Absolutely not. You could go out and have a solid day at Talladega. 3, 4, 5 people in front of you could get caught up in wrecks, have bad days, and suddenly the points are flipped completely on their heads. Definitely not a must-win. I mean, it's likely they're going to need a win at this point, I would say, because of the hole they're in, but not a must-win by any means for sure. Yes, Rod, you did try to disparage the name of Eric Jones, and I will not allow it on Eric Jones Week. Happy Eric Jones Week to everybody. $6,300 for Eric Jones. It's been rough. 3 of the last 4 races at Talladega. I'll start with that. 18th here in the spring, 35th last spring, 26th in the fall of 2023. He's gotten caught up in some stuff. He's been running well in those races, and that's just kind of how it happens. But overall, he's been pretty good here. You talked about him being the second highest points earner in fantasy last year at this track with a 5th place finish. That was after starting in 30th, which is beautiful. You love that. A lot of place differential, and you're getting those good, solid finishing position points. But you go back and you look at the rest of his time here in the next gen era. 6th place in 2023, 6th place in October of 2022, 6th place in April of 2022. He's really got to think for that 6th place finish. He's been able to lead laps, leading 25 in one of those 22 races, 23 in the other, and just performing really well at this track in particular. You know, overall, decent super speedway guy, has some good finishes, but Talladega in particular is where he thrives. Even in the pre-next gen era, 9th place here in 2021, a 2nd here in 2020, a 5th in 2020 as well, an 8th back in 2019. So Eric Jones has been a guy that I don't want to say completely reliably, because 3 of the last 4 have not been good, which good. Maybe that'll keep some people off of him. I'd be fine with that, right? You want him to be less played, but also he generally doesn't start well. I mean, back in 2022, first year of the next gen, 16th and 12th place in that number 43 Petty GMS car. But since it's transitioned to Legacy, 24th, 26th, 28th, 30th, 34th, good. I hope he doesn't start well, right? Start farther back. It's going to make him an easier play. If you start 34th and end up finishing 25th, he's not hurting you, right? So that's always nice. But if you start 30th and you finish 5th like you did last fall, that's a great day. It's the second most points on the day, which you'd love to see. So Eric Jones, Talladega is his playground when it comes to the super speedways. Finished good in the 500, had some other good runs, but Talladega in particular is the track he likes the most, performs well on. I'm all in on Eric Jones this week at 6,300.
Well, and again, for the price, and I know that Expert Sucks is here only for the drivers under 6,500, and that's exactly it. For the price, this is definitely a good play because, like I said, yeah, he's a flash, but boy, when he flashes very well. And like you said, too, maybe people are off of him because of the fact that he's soured a little bit in their minds. But, I mean, look, all it takes is for a good – and nothing says Talladega, right? Nothing says Super Speedway than Eric Jones being 5th overall in the average finishes amongst the Kyle Larsons, the Chase Elliott's, the Bowmans, because really it's him right after that, right? And then after that is Todd Gilliland, which should definitely tell you that this is a super speedway. If Todd Gilliland ranks in the top 6 of the average finishes. And then there's Ricky Stenhouse. Oh, yes, Ricky Stenhouse. We couldn't go through Talladega without offering you Ricky Stenhouse. He's $8,500. And honestly, it's crazy to think that you're spending $8,500 on Ricky Stenhouse, especially when in the past he's been $5,400 last week, 52, 57, 54, 64, 53, and all of a sudden he jumps up to 8,500. Why? Well, because Talladega is actually a pretty damn good track for Ricky Stenhouse. He is 7th overall in average finish on this track. He does have a win within the last couple of seasons where he won in the fall of 2024. But really what does it more for you is his DFS days. He had the 7th best DFS day in the spring race here in 2025, where he got you 50 points, started 35th and finished in 14th. How about the fall of 2024, where Ricky Stenhouse Jr. had the most fantasy points on the day, started 32nd and finished in 1st, got you 81 points on the day. Eric Jones, by the way, like Cody said, second there with 67. The spring of 2024, not to be outdone, Ricky Stenhouse got you the second most points behind Noah Gragson. Started 33rd, finished in 4th, and had 2 fastest laps on his way to 69.90 points.
Oh, God, nice. Sorry, I was muted and I couldn't hit the button fast enough.
It's quite all right. But look, even when he struggles,
more caffeine.
even when he struggles like he did in the fall of 23, where he got you 38 points, started 35th, finished 22nd, ended up 12th best on the day in fantasy points, 10th most fantasy points in the 2023 race, where he got you 49.4. Look, Ricky Stenhouse is just going to put together a day in which he starts in the back and finishes in the front. 26 points he got you in the fall of 2022. He got you 9 points in the spring of 2023 or 2022, which was the first one where he wasn't inside of the top 20 overall in points. 36 points in the 2021 race. So this is pre-next gen. But look, his finishes have been good. His starting positions have been bad. That's all you can ask for, especially a guy that's going to jump out and get you 50, 60 fantasy points. Even at $8,500, it's still not a bad investment to make on Ricky Stenhouse. And I get it. Recky's out there, but
yeah, Recky, but that's the thing is, you think of Stenhouse and you think high risk, high reward, like it's always wreckers or checkers with him, but that's not so much the case at Talladega. He's actually, especially over the last 3 races, been very consistent at this track. Got a win here, obviously, fairly recently. So you like to see that as well. And turns out he might be a pretty solid play. Obviously, again, nobody's immune to the wrecks, and you get caught up and it happens. But Stenhouse, really, that the Wrecky Spinhouse moniker that's been put on him, he used to wreck a lot. He's really, really matured the last couple of years. He's got a wife now. He's got a baby now. That we see that change in guys where things kind of cool off and calm down for him. And he's become a lot different of a driver. You could definitely see the change, and he's not been so much of the wreck. He still pops up and wrecks a little bit here and there, but overall, there's definitely been a big change for him. So I think he is a solid play.
Indeed. All right, we've got some low price drivers to get to, but we also have the opportunity to tell you about our friends over at Underdog. It's a great place to play fantasy pick'em, where you can win up to 5,000 times your entry. Simply pick higher or lower on your favorite player stats. It's available in a ton of sports. I will continue to keep pounding the drum for Paul Macbeth in the Disc Golf Pro Tour. They are taking part in their 2025 Disc Golf Pro Tour Match Play Championship going on. It's the 10th Disc Golf Pro Tour Championship happening indeed. And look, Paul Macbeth is set at 4.5 for his finishing position projection. Give me the better than on this one. I'm going to take the higher than, the better than. Look, he has been at least first or second over the last couple of tournaments. In fact, he's been first or second in 3 of the last 5 tournaments that he's been in. And, I'm not really all that great at math, but that's better than 4.5. So, go search up the Disc Golf Pro Tour and then look at Paul Macbeth and his number 4.5. His projection is set there. Give me the better than on that one. You can find that and so much more over at Underdog. Plus, I got a brand new offer for new customers. Play just $5 and get $100 in bonus funds when you sign up with our promo code RACE, SGPN. Football's back, baby, and Rhythm is crushing it in college football and the NFL with picks and props. Rhythm is also giving away weekly cash prizes just for tracking your bets in the app. Track 5 bets of the same type from any model you build, and you can win $1,000. Taking a look now at this Panthers and Jets game, I think the only thing that will keep you interested in this one is having something on it. Well, Rhythm is giving us a projection of 45.2 points scored in this one. The line right now for the Panthers and the Jets is 42.5. I think they're thinking that the Panthers are going to score a ton of points. So, give us the over on that one, and we'll go ahead and take the over thanks to Rhythm's model. And you can help yourself to all of that right now. Use promo code SGPN25 when you download the Rhythm app for 25% off of your first month. Download Rhythm and use promo code SGPN25. I had Rico Dowdell against you in this last, and I just got, or was it him or was it against the guy in our Scott Fishbowl league? I know I had him in a couple different places, but
yeah, I don't remember. I know we had 2 matchups last week. You got me in one, I got you in the other one. That's how it goes. That one league though, I named my team the All Balls Squad because as we were drafting, people were like, "Wow, you just keep taking all these risks." Because I was taking, like, I should pull up the roster, but I was just like, this guy's really risky, rolling the dice. This guy's risky, rolling the dice, and then I just leaned into it. Once people were like, I'm like, give me Brandon Ayuk, give me a suspended Jordan Addison, give me all these guys, and we do the we play against the league median every week as well. So I'm 11-1 so far with the All Balls Squad. So love it.
Absolutely love it. All right. You know what else we love? Low price drivers that have all balls on Talladega.
Low price drivers. The Expert Suck is here for the under $6,500 driver info. I got that for you. Justin Burton, you hungry this morning, buddy? You want some fast pasta? Well, how about some fast pasta? $5,200 for Anthony Alfredo. Sign me up. This guy has 10 career Superspeedway starts, drafting track starts, I guess I should say, in the NASCAR Cup Series. The most beautiful part about it, Rod, he's never started better than 24th, and only one time that 24th place start has he started better than 30th. He is going to start near or at the back of the field, which is exactly what you love. That gives him a very low floor, meaning he's not going to lose you a lot of points, if any, but also a very high ceiling like he had in the spring here last year where he started in 24th and finished in 6th place. That's the type of upside that a guy like Anthony Alfredo produces for you. It's not always that extreme, right? Back here in the spring of this year, started in 31st, finished in 28th. That's not a bad day, though. At this price range, you'll take a guy that just gets you a couple spots, doesn't wreck out. Obviously, you're going to be looking for more, but it's not a killer. 33rd to 24th in this race last year. That's another decent day. Obviously, last spring, 24th to 6th is a huge day. You go back to Talladega here in the fall of 2021 in the old car, back when he was with Front Row Motorsports in the 38 there. Started in 30th, but he finished in 21st. So 2 of the last 3 times he's been here, or you could look at it as, well, no, I guess one of those was a spring. So 2 of the last 3 times he's been here, I think we'll stick with that. He's finished inside of the top 10, right? But how about we make it 3 of the last 4 times he's been here that he's finished inside of the top 12, because the spring of 2021, he also finished here in 12th place. So 4 career starts here, 5 career starts here, rather. I don't even know what I'm trying to say. My numbers are all jumbled up. But 28th, 24th the last 2 times. But prior to that, 6th, 10th, 12th. He's got really good upside for you. Not going to start well. Anthony Alfredo. And if you look, actually, pulling up his Xfinity Series stats as well, in the spring here, finished in 6th place. The spring of last year, finished in 3rd place. The spring of 2022, finished in 6th place. June of 2020, finished in 6th place. He's been really good at Talladega in the Xfinity Series. We talked about him some on the betting show yesterday. Been good in the Cup Series, really at most of his Super Speedway starts. He's a guy that knows how to stay out of trouble. We know that Beard Motorsports 62 car, Brennan Gaughan for years, obviously, driving that car. We've seen some other people in it here the last couple of years since Gaughan retired. But it's been a solid car. They only show up and run at Super Speedways. That's all their program is focused on. It's a good enough car that it hangs in the draft, performs well. If he can avoid the chaos, you get some fast pasta on Sunday. It's going to taste delicious. Give me Anthony Alfredo.
I absolutely love pasta. I think we're going to have pasta tonight. But yeah, definitely fast pasta this weekend. I love
Will
that.
It be fast pasta, Rod?
If I eat it quickly enough, yes, I think it will be fast pasta. Justin checking in real quick, non-DFS related, but missed the first part of the show. Did y'all talk about Butterbean going to college? We sure did. Absolutely talked about that.
When the show's over, go back, listen to the start. We talked about that, talked about the Kyle Busch crew chief news and the Ty Dillon spotter all back at the beginning of the show.
Indeed, we did. All right. Cover boy, Cody Ware, $5,300 expert suck. Here is your
I'm right here, Rob.
Yes, Cody Ware. Where? Cody? Where's Cody? Cody Ware, $5,300. This is the one and only track, pretty much, or the one and only track type that you can enjoy watching Cody Ware and have a good time watching him. In the spring, he only got you 8.9 fantasy points, but in the fall of 2024, Cody Ware turned in the 7th best performance overall in fantasy terms with 55 points on the day, 55.05 points in the spring of 2024. Cody Ware got you 30 points with the 18th best output of the day. And then I'm telling you, so the last 3 races for Cody Ware, or at least 2 of the last 3, have been good, solid performances, a 55 and a 30. So to me, that's like already easy money, because he's going to start in the back, right? Cody Ware starts in the back, and then he finds his way up to the front. It's just what he does. Like we said, finishes the 31st, 12th, and 24th in the last couple of seasons. And at $5,300, I'm more than willing to take a shot on Cody Ware being able to just climb up 10 spots, maybe 11 or 12 spots to get me the points that I need. And, I'm looking at some of the other drivers down here at the very end of it. And the BJ McLeods of the world, I know Anthony Alfredo, you definitely made a good case for him, but Cody Ware's like right above him. Austin Hill, definitely not touching Austin Hill. Cole Custer, SVG, I made a case for him yesterday in the betting, or 2 days ago in the betting episode, as far as betting is concerned. And if he does get a top 10, all the better, but I think he may start closer to the front and not where Cody Ware's going to start. The place differential there is not going to make much difference for you if you start Van Gisbergen. Ty Dillon is still wrecked already. Nemechek, Allmendinger, like all these guys, you can make a case for him, but $5,300 for Cody Ware, him and Alfredo, I think, are pretty much along the same lines of you start them, they're not going to start very well, and all they can do is just get better if they miss out on some of these big wrecks that happen in front of them. These guys up front, one wrong move, wrong push in the wrong spot, and 25 cars wreck, and here comes Cody Ware right to the front. And, all of a sudden you've got yourself a winning lineup with Cody Ware. So like I said, 30, 55 points over the last couple of races, not with the spring withstanding. I like that. I like the upside to give me Cody Ware. So $5,300.
Yeah, I like it. And I forgot to mention the Alfredo thing. You talked about him leading a bunch of laps here previously, but that's the thing with these back marker type of cars. Remember the Arby's car out front at Daytona a couple of weeks ago? Cody Ware don't give a fuck about fuel. He's just going to go run out front. So if he can go rack up 15, 20 laps led just during the course of the race, that already is going to make him pay for himself. Then if he's able to score a decent finish with it, sometimes that works out well. And, oh, by the way, if he is just leading because let's go have some fun, the wrecks are happening behind him, and he doesn't have to worry about that. Clean out some of the competition, gives them good spots. So you're going to get a Cody Ware, you're going to get an Anthony Alfredo, a BJ McLeod. There's going to be 1, 2, 3, 4 of these guys, maybe even, that end up with top 10, 15, even 20 finishes. They're going to pay off and have a good day because they survive the chaos. They're there at the end, and that's what you're looking for out of these cheap guys.
Well, yeah, and again, you get off a pit cycle with some of these guys, and you're leading, and then a wreck happens behind you, and then you can pit, and now you're in a really good position. So it's just a matter of how this all plays out, like you said, with the chaos and all that other good stuff. So, all right, get out your pen and paper. We're going to go over our DFS plays for the Cup Series for this YellaWood 400. Cody started you off with Chase Elliott at $9,800 as his high price driver. I said his teammate William Byron at $10,000 was mine. Cody gave you Eric Jones at $6,300 for his mid-tier driver. I said Ricky Stenhouse, $8,500. One of the only tracks he'll ever be that high to be my mid-tier driver. Fast Pasta is the low price driver for Cody at $5,200. Anthony Alfredo. I said Cody Ware, load me up with that 51 car at $5,300 for my low price driver. Well, the trucks and Xfinity are both going to be on this track, joining the friends over at the Cup Series, and we are going to give you one of our favorite plays from each of them. So we'll start with the Truck Series. The Love's RV Stop 225. It's 85 laps around this 2.660 mile paved track of goodness. So Cody, who's your one Truck Series driver?
Well, Rod, I shared a little story with you before we got on. I made a trip over to run some errands this morning, made a trip to the casino while I was out, and they were trying to limit me on betting on Spencer Boyd to win because they're scared, as they should be, Rod. He is my play, $5,800. Of drivers entered into this race, he has the 5th best average finish since 2022, 10.0 being that average finish. Granted, it was one race, but last year in this Freedom Racing truck, finished in 10th place. That is a good solid run. He is not going to qualify well. The problem we've had with betting Spencer Boyd at super speedways recently is he doesn't make the race because they don't have just raw speed in that truck. Luckily, he will make the race because there's not more than 36 entries. So he's going to make the race, but he's going to start probably right ahead of Norm Benning in about 35th place. But he's not going to start well. So again, to the argument with the cheap guys earlier, they're not going to start well, meaning that they've got that low floor. They're not going to lose you a ton of points. That's the thing with a William Byron or Kyle Larson, they start in the top 5. They've got a massive downside if they do get caught up in a wreck because they can lose you a ton of points. A guy like Spencer Boyd, not going to do that. 10th place in 2024 in this truck. Other finishes here. He had the 7th place in 2021. 38th in 2020 is the one blemish. He won this race in 2019. Man, he made us so much money that fucking day. Well, me anyways. That was pre this show. Sorry about that. But he made me a lot of money back in 2019. Might have been a slack back in the slack days. Might have been a big win there for all those guys. 13th place in 2017. So outside of the 120th or 38th place finish in 2020 when he got caught up in it, he's been a really solid driver at this track. He has the upside of winning. He's 300 to 1, 350 to 1, whatever, for a reason, but he's capable of doing it, certainly, if the cards fall correctly. 19th at Daytona, 19th at Talladega. Those aren't the greatest runs ever, but when you're starting bad, getting to the end of these races is what's most important. At a 5th place finish in this truck last year at Daytona, 11th place in 2022, 13th in 2021. Spencer Boyd is a very good super speedway guy and not a guy we're ever going to talk about anywhere else. And he's occasionally can be a decent play just because he doesn't usually start well. But at a track like any type of super speedway, but Talladega in particular, where he's won before, love me some Spencer Boyd. Only $5,800. He's a guy that will most certainly be jammed into a lot of my lineups this weekend.
Indeed. Yeah, speaking of jamming people into lineups, how about Jack Wood? I am appealing to the Jack Wood crowd of this show as we've got a lot of them. Yeah, I'll give you some Jack Wood then. How about $6,300 for Jack Wood in the Truck Series? The thing is that you just want to cheer for this guy. I mean, he's probably not going to go out and lead you laps. He's probably not going to go out and give you a ton of fastest laps, but he will give you a decent, solid finish as he's done on this track in his past. 14th place finish in the 2023 season for Jack Wood in the 51 truck, the Kyle Busch truck. He did start 6th in that one and ended up finishing in 14th. And then in the 24 truck, the Gallagher truck, started 14th, finished 19th. Granted, he's not improving his positions, but a 19th place finish for a $6,300 guy is still a good return, even though he lost you 5 spots in that one. A bad start in his first one. So he's only been on this track 3 times. Average finish of 24.3, average start of 14.7. But again, that one kind of screwed him up. Daytona, not really his track. Started 21st and finished 24th in the spring here of this. But recently, though, Jack Wood has gotten you some positive fantasy points. 25 last week, 17 the week before, 20, 40. He did lose you 2 points at the road course, but road course, whatever. 24 before that, 32 before that, 39. He's averaging 22.6 fantasy points per race at $6,300. Jack Wood can run up with the 10th place guys. Like, we've seen him have some pretty solid top 10 runs. And for Jack Wood, obviously the finishes don't always coincide with where he runs, but you're hoping for him to start closer to the back and then crawl his way up a few spots here and get him a good finishing position along with some point differentials. And it's just fun to cheer for Jack Wood, right? Everybody loves to do it in this one, so I'll give you the permission to do it this week.
I'll always endorse Jack Wood, Rod.
Yes, you will. All right. Well then, Cody, let's move over to the Xfinity Series race where they too will be taking on the Talladega Superspeedway for the United Rentals 250. Who is your driver?
Yeah, that's another one where you stole my play. So fully endorse the guy that you're on. He would be my top recommendation for Xfinity Series here at Talladega. But I will pivot to another guy that's like a Spencer Boyd. This guy you don't really see much, but when you see him, it's super speedways. You want to bet on him for that reason. Jordan Anderson, $6,600. I sort of like that they priced him up a little bit at $6,600 because I think the casual people will just kind of be like, oh, that guy's too expensive for somebody who doesn't race very often. I don't recognize the name, whatever. Skip right over him. Please do. Last 2 starts here at Talladega have not been great, 33rd and 31st. So obviously you want a little better than that. But 5th place here in his first career start back in 2021. Great run there. In the Truck Series, also a rough outing the last time in 36th. But prior to that, 11th, 6th, 21st, 7th, 19th, all pretty solid runs. A guy that's not going to probably qualify extremely well at this track. I mean, his starts previously have been 26th, 32nd, and 29th. That's the type of start you want, is not starting very well with the upside of a top 5 like we saw just a couple of years ago. Daytona in the Xfinity Series, he's got more starts, been very good there. 7th, 6th, 4th, 15th, 22nd, going back to his first career start. So he's progressively gotten better over there. Jordan Anderson is one of those super speedway guys. He owns, the Anderson cars, the Jordan Anderson racing cars. Those are the cars he owns. He jumps into his own cars for these races in particular because he's very good at them. If you didn't know, Larry Mack's son-in-law, the Fox guy, the crew chief, right? Former crew chief for Dale Earnhardt. There's a lot of ties there. All the stuff with the super speedway, with the Talladega. Give me some Jordan Anderson at $6,600.
Absolutely love it. Along with the guy that I'm about to give you as well, Jeb Burton. They might as well just rename this the Jeb Burton Super Speedway because he has been lights out for Xfinity at this particular track. In the spring, should have won this race, right? By all rights and accounts, everybody said he should have won this race. Got robbed, finished second, but still a quality DFS day, obviously, from Jeb. Led 7 laps, started 5th, finished runner-up. Probably should have won it, as everybody says. But before that, listen, he's on a string of top 10 finishes, 4 in a row here for Jeb Burton. He does have 2 wins on this track. 7 top 10 finishes overall in 10 starts, 4 top 5s, 2 wins, average finish of 7.9, average start of 14.5. In the fall of 2024, he got a 16th place start, turned it into a 7th place finish. And then in the spring of 2024, started 35th and ended up finishing in 9th. Imagine the fantastic DFS day he had then, right? That's a huge day for Jeb Burton. And then he won in 2023 after starting 8th, leading 17 laps in that race as well. Look, Jeb Burton is going to be the guy that you're watching all race long. And I kind of hope he gets a mid-pack start because he's not afraid to find his way up to the front. He's not afraid to maneuver his way up to the front and have himself a good day. In Daytona earlier this year, he started 22nd and finished 16th in the spring race, led 4 laps in that one. So pretty decent DFS day. And look, for his price, he's scoring 29.4 fantasy points per race for you. He's $7,300. He's priced up a little bit, but because they recognize how awfully good he is here. He priced up a little bit last week. He was $6,800. Week before that, 68, 7,061. So they're definitely respecting him a couple $100 more in his ability to get around Talladega. But this is, I think, a staple. You have to have him in one of your DFS lineups, if not a lot of them, because he's going to get you a nice chunk of points by the end of the day. So Jeb Burton, baby, $7,300, my driver for the Xfinity Series.
Yeah, like I said, fully endorse this one. Love Jeb this week. Jeb at Talladega. He's good at all the plate tracks, but again, another one of those guys that some of these guys, just Talladega in particular, I don't know if it's because it's a little bigger, it's a little more space to work with. Very, very good here. Got absolutely robbed in the spring. He's going to use that, I think, to fuel a good run this week. So love Jeb Burton with you.
Indeed. TK saying, morning, guys. It's 6 a.m. there. Well, it's 10 a.m. here. So good morning.
Good afternoon. It's 12:02 now here in the Central Time Zone. Rob.
That's true. It is. Well, good afternoon then. But all right. Well, then, however you're listening to this, whether it's the morning, we'll send you off for the rest of your day. If it's at night, good night, and we will see you later or whatever. But yeah, that's it. That's the DFS episode, Cody. Now all we got to do, sit back and enjoy Talladega.
Sit back and enjoy Talladega. By the way, it is Friday morning for TK. So happy Friday to you, my friend. Yeah, Rod, you can follow me over on the X at Husker_Zeeb, where you can find all my stuff. Tons and tons of article stuff out over there. Got NFL player props for the week, college football upset, Thursday night preview, confidence pool picks. If you do the confidence pools, got some other fun stuff that's in the works coming out soon. Make sure you check it out all out over there. Happy Eric Jones week to everybody. Happy Spencer Boyd week to everybody. Let's go make some fucking money at Talladega this weekend.
Indeed. Thank you all for hanging with us in our morning edition of the show and for sticking with us through the caffeine jolts that we needed to get through it. Love you all. Yeah, enjoy Talladega. We're going to have some fun. You can join us in the Discord, sg.pn/Discord, to keep the conversation rolling and have fun with us all weekend long. All right, we'll see you guys next week for more fantastical NASCAR racing. And until then, let's go racing and let it ride.
Sweet as